Hello there, what I'm showing you today is the Kissing Crane Brown Mule. Now this particular knife is a copy of the Budk Sodbuster, and this one is kind of aimed at real budget-minded folks, because before I even talk about the knife itself, this knife is available pretty much exclusively through Budk. And so for those of you who are familiar with Budk and their catalog, they're pretty infamous within the cutlery industry because they have a lot of crap that they sell. Very, varying degrees of fantasy swords, crappy Chinese folders. And this particular knife is their take on Case's Sodbuster because it has that very familiar style. But the knife itself, in the catalog right here, can give you the specs, or at least what they give you. Razor sharp high carbon steel blade, and I've seen in other catalogs that they advertise it as 440 steel as well, so probably 440 blade. Solid hardwood handle, brass pins and liners, and the blade length is about 3¼ inch. Closed length 4¼ inch, and the price is what's pretty interesting about this knife, and that's why I bought it, because normally when they send you these catalogs, the shipping is going to cost more than the knife if you buy this on its own. But around the holidays, they always have some kind of a free shipping option, and I took advantage of that to get this knife shipped to me for $6.98. So that was just the total cost in all, and that made it kind of worth it. But when I received the knife, I just wanted to give it a once over, see how it looked, how the fit and finish was, because for $6.98 you don't always expect a lot. And this particular knife didn't really disappoint. Taking a look at it, right here, look at the pin. You can see there's a crack in the wood scale, and it was like this straight from the box. And if you look at the top here, you'll see there's actually, looks like wood putty inside that crack. So this is something they actually noticed at the factory and still shipped it this way. And for $6.98, am I going to send this back to Budk and say, I want my money back, I want an exchange? No, not at all. It still does work. What I did when I got it is I used some super glue on this crack right here, and that kind of just helped solidify it in place. So overall, you can see the thickness of the knife. This is their larger Sodbuster type knife they sell. They sell the same version here, but with a black handle. And they also sell a slightly smaller version with an orange, kind of peach colored handle. So I just decided to buy this one as an experiment, and if it was really good, I would buy the others as well. For right now, though, I'm kind of happy with just having this. You can see the back liner there. Pretty smooth finish here, not too bad. Opening the blade itself, you can see the Kissing Crane logo, and Kissing Crane seems to be kind of the in-house brand for Budk. I haven't seen them for sale really many other places. It's not focusing very well, but I'll give you an idea. Same on the other side. It says, let's see if I can get that to focus. Terrible. There you go. Stainless steel, handcrafted in China. So don't expect anything other than that. And I knew that buying it, so of course, that's expected. The Brown Mule logo here on the blade looks pretty nice. It's classy. Out of the box, it wasn't sharp at all, so I tried to sharpen it myself, and I'm not great at sharpening, so it's barely able to cut paper now. Let's see if I can even get it to do it on the camera. So, sorry there, I had a little bit of problem with my phone storage right here. But it's again showing how it cuts. Sometimes it's hard to catches on the paper. Not easy to get a good edge on it. Maybe that's just my experience because I'm not super great at sharpening knives. Lock up on it. Of course it's not a locking knife, but it is a slip joint, and just holding the handle you can wiggle that blade a little bit back and forth. Same up and down, it wants to go in very easily. But for this type of knife, it's not really for hard use anyhow. And it has a nice snap going back into the handle. So it has the 3 brass pins, and the wood scales actually look really nice, and if it didn't have that crack on there near this top pin, I would have thought it great. but I wanted to see what kind of quality that Kissing Crane was putting out. And given that it's from Budk, I didn't expect a whole lot. Budk is kind of like the entry drug for future knife addicts. I know it was for me. You know, back in college when they first started sending me catalogs, I used to buy knives from them like crazy. And not many of them are around anymore. You know, they have their own branded knives and things like that. I'm sure some of you are familiar with them, but this, for instance, is one I've had for about 10 years. Some silly, you know, fixed blade, Tanto, China markings on it, and actually a Budk logo on the bottom. But this one's one of the only ones I still have left over the last 10 years because it's a pretty solid piece of steel, takes a good edge, comes with a cheap, you know, nylon sheath with the logo on it again. But then again, you know, this was one of the gateway drugs that served into getting me into cutlery and knives in general. So kind of a neat side note there. You know, so if you're interested in having one of these knives, you know, had this crack not been there, you know, this knife would be perfectly serviceable, and it still is serviceable. I'm just kind of anal about little details like that, so that kind of bothers me. But for $6.98, it's a pretty good deal. You know, wait until they give you a free shipping code, because you don't want the cost of shipping to equal the cost of this knife itself. And they have those offers relatively often, especially around the holidays. So that's kind of the best way to get anything from Budk or Kennesaw Cutlery with the same company. You know, so I enjoy the catalogs. A lot of it's mall ninja junk, you know, fantasy junk, stuff that's going to fall apart on you. But they have a few gems in there. And I'm not saying this is a gem, but it's a working knife. So take my advice, or take my words and use them to guide your purchase. Any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Hope this helps. Thank you.